as long as they signed Trent Williams, they could have won Jets week. And so imagine he signs out and then they win and they're like, all right, dude, like now you just look stupid and your value is going down. Like, I don't think it's a guarantee if he would have held out Jets week and they would have lost. And that was pivotal in the Chiefs signing Chris Jones. Because the Chiefs lost week 1 and they were like, oh shit, we got to get this deal done. And I think Trent Williams has much more of a case in that type of realm. Because I think if you had to choose between one or the other, the 49ers could win against the Jets without Brandon Aiyuk. I don't think they're winning against the Jets without Trent Williams. And that's not because I think the Jets are, some amazing team, but they do have a good, we know they have a good defense, they have a good head coach who specializes in defense, and Brock Purdy's competing with a backup offensive line right now, and they can't run right. And without Trent Williams, they can't run left. Brock Purdy's going to be taking sack after sack. Freaking already injured Christian McCaffrey is going to not be able to run anywhere. They don't want to chance that. But good I'm not trying to be too negative. I'm excited that Brandon Aiyuk is on the team. Like I said, I just never expected that he was going to hold out multiple games. And I'm kind of surprised that if the 49ers were going to go up to $30 million, that they didn't do it earlier. Sauce Gardner would have locked Debo up. I don't know if you were in the chat earlier, Mr. Corey, but I was talking about how he got locked up against the Raiders, like third string preseason guy. Not great. Love Debo. He can be an exciting player, but getting open is not his specialty at all. Chris A is talking about other guys who have held out, but that was in 1993, which is a whole different football game than it used to be. Bell used to get high before games. What are you guys talking about? Jesus. Bell held out from the Steelers. Okay. I want to say hi to Rick Diaz really quickly. Been trying to keep up with the comments as I'm giving all y'all the information that I've gotten. Rick's always in the chat. I was saying, I know that there's the 4-man front, which is obviously very, very cool that all those guys are collaborating. So I was just thanking everyone who was tuning into my show, because I know they're happening simultaneously. Look at me. That was a good pronunciation of that word. What was the word I couldn't say earlier? Publicity? Publicity. Look, now I'm saying it. Why couldn't I say publicity? I'm fucking up. Publicity stunt? What did I said attention seeking. I ended up just saying a whole different word because I was like, that was too hard. But what's up, Rick? Okay, Ashley. The job is done for Brandon Aiyuk. It's time for us to get focused on the 49ers game against the Jets. Let's get ready for Monday. Yeah, it's Jets week, baby. It's coming up fast. I mean, today's Thursday, so the first game of the regular season, obviously not Niners, but just NFL in general, is next Thursday, right? Hell yeah. There's no more preseason right now, right? I know that they were having preseason on Thursday, but I don't think there's a game going on tonight. We can run right now because of Pooney. I will say I'm stoked on Pooney. He looks good so far. I feel like he's better against the pass than he is against the run, which is crazy because most or all of the 49ers offensive linemen are better against the run than they are against the pass. But for some reason, Pooney has had a little bit of struggle. He was asked about it in a press conference that he talked in last week. And he was saying because he's changed positions since college, that getting adjusted to the run game has been a little bit difficult for him. I think he'll be able to do it eventually, but it's going to take him a little bit of time. Ashley, you're not the only one. You're not the only. Jesus, words. Been talking for an hour and 10 minutes straight. Ashley, not only are you cool, hell yeah, but we'd much rather look at you. Oh, this is nice. Than those other 49er channels. That's what's up. Like and subscribe, baby. Thank you guys so much. Can't wait for Steve Young's comments next week. Yeah, I wonder what he's going to say. I wonder if they're going to keep fighting about whether or not the offer was on the table August 10th. Because if this offer was on the table August 10th and Brandon and I didn't accept it, that's kind of shitty, right? There's 2 preseason games and 3 weeks of practice that Aiyuk just decided not to do until he started getting fined. But then also you look at the 49ers and you're like, why didn't you start finding him earlier if apparently you thought that was going to convince him to accept your offer? I just found out about this a couple hours ago, so I'm still in shock because I was anticipating that the 49ers weren't going to go above $28 million. Now, when we're talking about Steve Young, I'm giving it is 48 to I don't know how long it takes to like work out paperwork, but I'm giving it, let's say 72 to be generous. I'm giving it 72 hours, and I think the Trent Williams deal is done. Because I think they were always going to pay Trent Williams. I think they just had to figure out how they were structuring Brandon Aiyuk's deal, or if he was not going to be on the team before they structured whatever they were going to do for Trent. That was my hypothesis. I always thought and still believe that they were going to prioritize signing Trent Williams. I thought that they just wanted to get Brandon Aiyuk's deal out of the way so they knew whether or not to backload Trent's deal or how to like negotiate the numbers. Because he's always doing that. Now, is Prague always doing things right? I don't necessarily know, but I know that they've been able to sign a lot of their stars by mixing up the numbers and having cap hits be higher and lower for different players at different times so that they can keep all these. I mean, right now they have like an all-pro at every position. Yeah, is that correct? Kittle for tight end, Trent Williams for offensive line, linebacker Trent Williams, Charvarius Ward. I think even Deommodore Lenoir is going to have a run for Charvarius Ward's money, but right now Charvarius Ward for the secondary. I guess not Brock Purdy, but they have stars at every position right now that are being highly paid, and the reason that they're able to do that is because they've structured these deals to like have the high cap hits hit at different years. So I always thought that they were going to sign Trent Williams. I think that they just wanted to figure out if BA was going to be on the team, to be honest, because I think if Brandon Aiyuk would have been traded, I think they would have given Trent all the money up front. That way when he's 40, they're not paying him. Because once again, he's 36 right now. So if Trent and I think he has three more years on his deal. Am I wrong about that? I think Trent has 3 more years on his deal and he's 36 right now. So he might just want the money that he already has just fully guaranteed. But say he's asking for another year or something in addition to that, they want to front load that deal, or they would prefer to front load that deal. So you're not paying a guy when he's 40 and you might want to cut him at that point or move on from him. Hallelujah. Yeah, I agree. I think because of Brock Purdy's contract, because of this new Brandon Aiyuk contract, I think they're going to lose Ward, which is fine because I think Deommodore Lenoir will be a good replacement. I do wish that they would have tried to sign Demo this offseason because I think they could have gotten him for cheaper than they will next offseason. Because I'm anticipating, last year, Charvarius Ward was always good. Like, he was a good cornerback when we acquired him from the Chiefs, but he had his best year last year. I think Demo's going to have that this year. That's my prediction, is that Demo's going to have his best year this year, and I think his price is going to go way up. So I wish that they would have tried to secure that this offseason, but they were having fucking tons of contract problems. I don't know what their deal was with getting guys signed this offseason. I thought that they should have gotten Brandon Aiyuk done right away and tried to sign Demo before his price skyrockets. I agree. I think that they're going to lose Banks. I don't know if they're horrified about that. He's not the best. He's also not terrible, and they have worse offensive linemen. But if you think of like McGlinchey and what he got offered, I feel like the price for keeping these offensive linemen is so expensive. Obviously, it's an issue because they haven't drafted a ton of depth there, but I do agree that I think they'll probably end up losing Banks and Hargrave. It's going to be interesting to see if Hargrave has a good year this year. Apparently, all throughout camp, he's looked really good, but I felt like he underperformed last year compared to what his contract was. Like, he was supposed to be this big acquisition that was going to really, be the other side of the defensive line across from Bosa and really, really improve. And I felt like he just was okay. I didn't think he was worth the contract extension that they gave him from the Eagles. So it'll be interesting to see how he does this year. But I agree that following this year, this is really their last, they've done like 8 revenge tour years. This is their last all-in year, in my opinion. And then possibly Debo too, unless he restructures. I did talk on this. I don't understand how. I mean, $30 million for Aiyuk, 25 is around what I can remember. Maybe I'm a little off, but I think it's around 25 is what Debo's making per year. For a team that's bottom in the league of passing, I don't know if you want to be paying that much to just 2 wide receivers. Will Debo take a restructure? Part of me thinks so, and part of me thinks Kyle Shanahan will push for that because I know they have that friendship. I don't know if this is offensive, but I feel like they have little, friendship crushes on each other. But then I think back to Debo's contract year, and he really wanted as much money as he could get. So maybe he won't want to restructure, and he's not committed to being a 49er. I think if someone is going to take significantly less in order to stay a 49er, and this is just a hypothesis, I think it'll be Kittle. Just because I think for some reason it feels like Kittle, like he wants to retire a 49er. I always think back to the Cowboys game where he was wearing that t-shirt. He's like really talked about since his rookie year that Kyle and John Lynch like really instilled in them the organization and the history that it has. And he's really like made a name for himself as a 49er. What some of these players have to think about too is depending on where you're going, maybe you're getting more per year there, but for like commercial deals, being a 49er is beneficial because it's a historic organization that is competing for championships. So if you look at Travis Kelce, he's not the top paid tight end right now, but he's making more than any other tight end in the league because he's on every fucking other commercial because he's on a Super Bowl winning team. So for like Brandon Aiyuk, yeah, maybe you would have made more per year going to the Patriots because they offered supposedly $32 million, but you can make $2 million in commercials being a 49er because people care about the 49ers. So your name matters. You're in the media more. Your face has more recognition. So companies want to hire you to be the face. That's what Travis Kelce has done. I bet Travis Kelce has made more in commercial deals than he has in his actual contracts. And you're going to get that being a 49er, even though they're not obviously as impressive as the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are actually winning Super Bowls. That's like, when it comes to like fandom, I don't necessarily think like being in the race matters. Like I want my team to actually freaking win a Super Bowl. But when it comes to media recognition and money, just being in the race is more impressive than being a team that's, missing the playoffs. Aiyuk isn't getting $2 million in commercials. Are you sure? I don't know. Maybe. Debo and Kittle were just on receiver last year, and I bet they both made more than $2 million there. So if something like that happens with Brandon Aiyuk, apparently he's making a documentary. Some people are saying the reason he didn't sign August 10th when supposedly this deal was offered was because he was trying to spice up his documentary, which I hope isn't true because that does make him look selfish if he's putting his documentary before practicing with the team. And I'm not gonna put that on him because his agent is saying that's not true and Adam Schefter is saying it is true. I'm less inclined to believe Adam Schefter because I think he might be kind of scummy. Not as a person, but just I think he works for the teams. But all I'm saying is like Debo and Kittle definitely made $2 million on Netflix. So if anything like that happens again and Aiyuk ends up being that guy, especially moving on, like maybe not this exact year, but if they move on from Kittle, if they move on from Debo, Aiyuk is going to start being that number one with Brock Purdy, right? I mean, when Tyreek Hill was on the Chiefs, Kelce was important, but he wasn't the number one guy. Now that Hill is gone, now that Hill is gone, Kelce is the one getting all the commercials. So yeah, maybe he won't make $2 million now, but in 2026, when he's the number one wide receiver on the team, he could be getting commercials and TV shows. I just mean either. I'm not being like specific. I love the 49ers. Also, youth loaded this year. Sorry, I don't know why I just decided to sing. I got a little bit tired. Yeah, this is like one of the final time, or one of the, sorry, I keep moving this way because my blinds are taking over more and more of my room. This rookie class is impressive. I'm excited for this year. It feels like hopefully Kyle Shanahan puts more trust into his rookies this year, and like instead of going with vets where you already know that they have a low floor, low ceiling, just not that good, but like serviceable. It feels like Kyle Shanahan is one of those people that relies on playing mediocre guys who have been in the NFL longer versus rookies who maybe need some time to catch up but have way higher ceilings. I hope that he, like, when it comes to the other side of Fred Warner instead of Campbell, I feel like they'll probably start week 1 with Devondre Campbell, but I hope they end up getting like D Winners in there. I know Hufanga practiced today for the first time, which congratulations to him. He has his knee injury, but he also, you want to make sure you don't want to just be in football shape. You want to be playing like your Hufanga. So if he sits out week 1, I would love it if it was Jair Brown and Mustafa there instead of like a veteran. You got those rookies. If you look at their 2022 and 2023 drafts, all those guys are literally cut and like not on the team anymore. They were horrible. This draft actually looks impressive. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. I think Cowing, he was so nervous. Did you guys watch that press conference? He said like every other word, but he was very, very impressed. I'm not making fun of him. I just like, you could tell that, it probably meant a lot to him because he probably knew, hey, I'm going to be on the team. He was impressive as hell in the preseason. And I went to one training camp and one training camp practice. And from everyone else who went to multiple, they were saying when you watched Ricky, when you watched Danny Gray, who was on the team at the time, and you watched Cowing, and if you would have watched all 3 of them and asked which one is the veteran, you would have thought that Cowing was on the team longer. Like he looked more prepared and was running faster and crisper and was getting more targets in practice, which means Kyle Shanahan somewhat trusted him to at least like give him opportunity than a Danny Gray and then a Ricky. And obviously Ricky is hurt now, but at the time when the practice that I was there, Ricky was on the field and Cowing looked better. And obviously Danny Gray got cut, so I don't know how impressive it is to be better than him, but he was a guy that was at least on the team for multiple years, and Cowing was obviously better than him. So I'm impressed with this. Impressed so far. Is as impressed as you can be. Obviously, regular season hasn't actually started yet, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'm not trying to say Cowing is going to be the next number 1 wide receiver. I'm just saying I think he could be serviceable and get targets this year. And I think Malik Mustafa could be serviceable and get playing time this year. I think that D Winners could get playing time this year. I think Pooney, Kyle Shanahan already said he's the starting right guard, and it's going to be super hard for anyone to take that away from him. Very impressed so far with this rookie class. Okay, I might end up I will say I love that I was talking about things that impressed me, and I just have this random comment. Special teams are still ass. I completely agree. My dad is a sweetheart, and he texts me throughout the games. I got into football because of my dad, and during some of those special teams play, he was like, what the fuck? What are they doing? Oh my God, they suck still. Anyways, I've been going for like an hour and a half, so I might end up cutting this in a little bit. Aiyuk and Cowing will like to see how they look like together, maybe is what you're trying to say. I completely agree. It'll be, both of those guys are going to be on the team, in my opinion, longer than, Deebo Samuel will be on the team. Maybe even longer than Kittle and Christian McCaffrey will be on the team. Not trying to, not saying that for sure, but those guys seem to be foundational pieces that if they end up signing Brock Purdy next year are going to be a part of the younger, new core that's ascending instead of vets that are slowly getting older. Ricardo says, I believe endorsement. Sorry, I wanted to yell because it was all capitalized. I believe endorsements were just waiting for the 49ers to commit to BA before giving out any endorsements. Now BA will get endorsement deals. I really liked how the capitalization going there. I will say I'm not sure if endorsement deals will, be knocking on Brandon Aiyuk's door this year because he still isn't the number one option. But I think going into this 2025 season, 2026 season, as guys start to age out and either get less targets or be moved away from, and the team ends up trading them or cutting them, Brandon Aiyuk is going to be getting more targets and become the number one option. I think that's when he'll get even more endorsements. I agree. I mean, obviously, Jared Kingston was impressive because for people who don't know, when you're released, it's like you're a free agent. When you're put on waivers, there's like a lottery and it's the same as the draft. So the 49ers were 31st in the draft. So they have to clear every team. Carolina Panthers are number one all the way through in order for you to claim them and put them on the practice squad. Well, Kingston was picked up by the Panthers. So he was clearly impressive if the number one team chose him. He was like one of the first people out of all the players on every team, all the rookies that were waived. He was one of the first guys that was picked up, off of waivers. So clearly they saw some potential there. It feels like they're eventually going to move off of Spencer Burford. I don't really know why they made the decision. Once again, it feels like Kyle Shanahan, he favors veteran players, even if they're more mediocre, versus guys that aren't ready yet but have more potential. And I kind of disagree with that philosophy. So I don't think that's the correct way to do things, but I do think that that's why that happened. It's just because Burford has had time in the system and is more of a veteran, and they didn't want to put the effort into developing Kingston. I don't think that's great, but I do think that that's what's happened. It'll be interesting to watch his career and see how he develops, because obviously people think that he has potential. Maya says, I hope that Pearsall takes the blue jersey off. I know this means the non-contact injury. I think he was put on, he's not practicing this week, right? Am I too early in saying that? I don't think he's at practice this week. It'll be interesting. I'm not betting that he'll practice week 1 against the Jets because he's not consistently even engaged in non-tackle football in practice. I don't know how he's gonna. It feels like he needs shoulder surgery. Like he practiced for like 1 week, 0 tackling, injured his shoulder just blocking. Took 2 weeks off, came back, injured his shoulder again, just in warm-ups. Like his shoulder's bad. Sorry. Maybe I'm wrong and maybe he'll be fine, but seems dangerous. They might have to end up like redshirting him or something. Bad move. I'm finishing up with these comments and then I'll be ending. Bad move to not keep Kingston and to keep Burford. I agree. I don't know why they did that. In my opinion, BA would not have earlier. He signed now because the fines are coming up. I agree. I think that he signed because 2 practices ago is when they started fining him. Why didn't I? That sucks. He deserves some criticism. He deserves some critique. I think that Brock Purdy is maybe too young to be the guy to hold players accountable, but I really respected Steve Young, who was on KMBR and kind of calling out the selfishness going on with these players while saying, I want guys to get paid. I understand it from a human level, but also when you see that there's a bigger picture and you see that the team is fighting for the Lombardi and they're this close, it's pretty shitty if you're eventually going to accept the deal anyways, and you're just hoping, like, maybe if I hold out for another couple of weeks, they're going to throw in $1 or $2 million more. It's like, dude, you're making $120 million. It's $125 million, but you might suck all year because you're not in football shape. Is that really worth it to you? I don't know. I'm not even saying that's necessarily my opinion. I'm just saying, I think when Steve Young talks, it's important to listen. Even David Lombardi said they should have kept Kingston, and he constantly asks us, that's interesting. Yeah, he does. Feels like every single move that they make, he switches around. I bet I wonder what is he saying about I saw the breaking news and I immediately started making a thumbnail and going live. I'm so intrigued in how David Lombardi is spinning this entire thing. Oh, I just realized that I didn't monetize this video at all. Oops. 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 Sorry. Anyways, I am going to log off now because I'm getting, Ricardo says goodbye from Norway, and Ashley is also going to say goodbye. I'm going live with Marco Martinez from Clutch Green Sports tomorrow. I really appreciated everyone for joining over an hour and a half with me. Really, really appreciated you guys. Excited that the Brandon Aiyuk deal is done. I'm giving it 72 hours before Trent Williams is done. It's possible that he goes all the way and misses game one like Chris Jones did for the Chiefs. But I think that they're willing to pay him and that they were just trying to see the numbers for BA before getting it done. So I was optimistic this whole time. I thought that Brandon Aiyuk was going to be on the team by the time week one started, and he was. So I'm not changing my optimistic ways now. Now, to be fair, I was a little bit wrong. I also thought he was going to be on the team during training camp, and he wasn't. But I'm going to continue to try to be optimistic. I think they're signing Trent Williams next, and we'll be going live to break down more of the deal structures, more of the contract structure with you tomorrow once we get more info from all the agents and everything. But the initial numbers, $120 million, 4 years, $30 million per year, $76 million guaranteed. Brandon Aiyuk signed with the team for the long term. Thank you guys so much and have a great day. Please do me a giant favor. Need some icy lemonade. I really want to make some lemonade. I saw a TikTok about that. But anyways, please do me a favor. It's a huge goal of mine to really grow my channel this season. If you can, if you're not subscribed and you're watching this, hit subscribe.